Hi guys, and welcome back to the Flight Attendant channel, the place to be for travel tips, cabin crew secrets, stories, reviews and much more. Remember to hit that subscribe button below for more great videos. Today we'll be talking about jobs that you could do after being a flight attendant. We all know that we can't be cabin crew forever. There are some great jobs out there for at some point you grow tired of the lifestyle, want to settle down, have a family, or purely want to change pace. Having the experience of working as a cabin crew means that we have a very certain skill set focused on customer service and helping others out. This will really help us excel in future jobs. So here go our top 10 jobs for ex-cabin crew. First on our list would be ground staff. Becoming ground staff would be a very natural progression for anyone who was cabin crew, because we're so used to working in and around airports. This could include working at a check-in desk, any part of the information service, PRMs, or dispatchers. These positions are basically guaranteed for any of us crew, seeing as we already have the skills and experience of dealing with passengers better than anybody else. It also allows you to keep in touch with the aviation world and be around the airport and everything that you love and could miss from flying. And what we've done with each job is we've made you a little star chart so you can have a better idea of exactly what would it mean and how you could get a position like this. For example, as a ground staff, the salary would be much lower than what it would be as cabin crew, but your relation to aviation would still be very, very close compared to other types of jobs. Next up on our list would be an office job at your current airline. It would be another natural progression for you to apply for an opening within your airline in the operational or back-end side of the company. It could be related to education as an instructor, finance, scheduling, crew control, and there are many other back-end jobs that you could definitely look for within your airline. Your airline is always going to be more willing and open to hiring you over an external candidate purely because you already have the culture and mindset of the company. What we do recommend is during your downtime, you do some personal education just to back up your application. Here, your salary would be much better than as a ground staff, but also the stress of the job could be higher too. Your chances of getting hired are pretty decent, seeing as you already have the mindset of the company and it has a very high relation to aviation as well, if you still want to stay within that field. Next up would be for you to start working on becoming a pilot. Seeing as we spend most of the time in the air anyway, you already have a very good idea and concept of exactly what the pilots do. As we have plenty of downtime, we can use this time to study and get our PPL license, for example, and also on our off days get in our flying hours. Becoming a pilot is not the easiest thing, it's not as easy as a cabin crew, but we do have the extra benefit over other people that we can ask anyone at any time during a flight to explain us the concept we don't understand or to show us any tips that might help us get there. And the same applies here, seeing as we already work for the airline, and once we're qualified, they will take that into consideration when we apply. And here on our star chart, you can see there's mainly 4 or 5 stars because the salary is high, the relation to aviation is very high too, but also the job stress can be pretty high, and the chances of getting hired are pretty good if you study and prepare yourself well. Also, it could be quite a long and hard journey to become a pilot, but once you get there, you'll definitely feel like you deserve it. Next up would be becoming a receptionist. Seeing as we've spent most of our career dealing with customers, clients, passengers, becoming a receptionist would be very easy for us too. What you could do is find a really nice holiday destination to settle in and become a receptionist there and spend the rest of your days living by the beach. Or you could go to a bigger city and then apply for a position as a receptionist in one of the major hotels. You'll be very likely hired because as cabin crew we're used to the weird shift patterns and also dealing with passengers and customers on a daily basis. And as you can see, the chances of becoming a receptionist after being a cabin crew are extremely high purely because we already have all the skills and the qualities that receptionists should have. The salaries aren't great, but also the stress of the job isn't too high either, so it should be quite a relaxing job, in theory, for you to take after being a cabin crew. Next up would be becoming a tour guide. Becoming a tour guide wouldn't be the easiest of transitions for us as cabin crew, seeing as we need to have extensive knowledge on the city or area that you intend to guide. But the positive again is while flying, we have plenty of time to study and learn at our own pace, and then we'll be ready to apply for it when we're ready. Most cities require a guide permit or license for you to actually give a guide of the city to ensure a high level of service is given. I actually have a friend who stopped working as cabin crew and became a tour guide of Mallorca in Spain, and basically what he did is he would take friends and family to start with and then groups around the island to the best places to eat and the most secret and hidden beaches to relax on, and to be honest, he's doing pretty well for himself now. The salary of a tour guide isn't amazing, to be honest, especially if you're hired by the city or town or location where you'll be giving the tours. If you decide to do it on your own, then you can get paid a pretty decent salary, seeing as you'll be the one in charge of your own route. And it's also not the most stressful of jobs, seeing as so long as you have the knowledge of the area, you won't be really given much troubles. Plus, it's a pretty stable job, to be honest, seeing as there's always going to be tourism if you've picked the right spot. As a flight attendant, your main language spoken on board should be English. So teaching English as a foreign language is a great way, especially as a native English speaker, to live abroad. Nowadays, you can even teach a language online, meaning you could teach from the comfort of your own home if you don't want to move. And online courses now even accept non-native speakers to teach. There could also be a possibility to do online translations if you already master 2 languages or more, again from the comfort of your own home. There are companies and websites like Fiverr and other freelance websites that are a great place to start out translating. If you're really good at what you do and manage to communicate your lessons in a way that the student really feels like he or she is progressing and learning, then you could do pretty well salary-wise as a teacher. The stress can be a little bit stressful depending on what type of students you're going for, if they're rather younger or older, and it does require some effort on your behalf, seeing as you do have to prepare and make sure that the students are also prepared for the classes. After being a cabin crew, you could apply to work on a cruise ship. Working on a cruise ship can be quite similar to how it is working on a plane, because you're always away from home, you get free accommodation, there are long hours, plus most of your colleagues are from many different nationalities. You also get to visit some really cool exotic destinations. Sounds really fun, right? Plus the salary is decent, and most importantly, there's no radiation on the cruise ships like we experience on the plane. I've actually got plenty of friends who have transitioned from working on a plane to a cruise ship, and they absolutely love it. Plus there's plenty of different jobs and types of things you could do on a ship. The chances of getting hired on a cruise ship are pretty high if you were cabin crew before, because the job is very similar and we already have lots of experience dealing with customers and passengers. Plus the salary is decent and the stress isn't, I would say, as much as it is working on a plane, because you have a couple more places to move around and, if needed, hide. Next up on our list is to become a travel agent or a travel blogger. As a flight attendant, you're really qualified for this job even without really realizing it. You literally spend your time traveling and getting to know the best places to eat, sleep and visit. So who better to offer travel advice either through an established agency or online than you? You could apply for a brick and mortar travel agency or be a bit more creative and create your own blog and write about the great places to go see and visit. Or you could even go one step further and create your own travel agency, which could be a lot of work, but also is well worth the reward. Again, here your chances of getting hired are very high, purely because you have so much experience traveling and dealing with clients than an external candidate, for example. The salary can be pretty good, especially if you decide to do it on your own, which is a lot more work, but definitely, as I said before, worth it. Or what you could do is sell your soul and go corporate. This is actually the way I decided to go in the end, not because I really wanted to work for a corporate company, but because I needed to find a job close to home. And this was the best and most stable offer to me, and obviously my family. So I started working off in a customer support position for an IT company, and then from there the company allowed me to develop and improve my skills, and I got promoted to a specialist, which I am today. It actually pays better than what I earned while flying, and I also have a more stable routine now. The job itself is a little bit more boring compared to what we used to do in the sky, so that would say it's something that I do miss. And you can also apply to become a personal assistant or, for example, customer support position in a startup company, which normally pays even more. And as I said, this type of job, the relation to aviation is very low, seeing as most corporate companies, unless it's like a travel agency, is not related to aviation, it's mainly IT. Your chances of getting hired again depends on what sort of position that you're applying for. If you want to go for more customer support, then you're more than likely to get hired. What is important about these type of jobs is normally the salary is very high. So that is always a bonus, especially if you are looking for the best for your family. Last but not least on our list is to become an entrepreneur. Probably it's the most hardest yet most rewarding path you could take from all of the ex-cabin crew jobs that we've previously said. Becoming an entrepreneur requires a lot of effort, research, a bit of startup capital, and luck. There are millions of blogs and places to get information on how to start your own business. What I can tell you from my experience is make sure that you do something that you love. If you're going to start your own business, make sure it's a passion of yours, otherwise you'll burn out real quick. Also, make sure that you run your business ideas past some friends and family who are not scared to tell you what they think. That way you can make sure that you have the best information to make a decision in the future. The most important thing to take away from becoming an entrepreneur is the personal satisfaction. If you successfully manage to set up a business, there's nothing more rewarding than being your own boss. Obviously, I'd put the chances of getting hired 5 stars because, as I said, you'll be your own boss. It also requires a huge amount of effort. You'll be working 24/7. When you're not working, you'll be going to sleep and thinking about your business, which is good in a way if it's successful, but if it's not going well, then it could cause, again, lots of stress. And I put relation to aviation just 2 stars because, again, it depends on what type of business you want to set up. So as you can see, there are plenty of job opportunities out there for you to go for. Make sure that you have a plan before actually you quit flying so you can jump straight into another job and not be stuck looking for something without any income. Keep your personal education up during the time that you have spare on board or on your travels in your hotel. Your personal development is really important. Guys, also remember please to like this video. It really helps us and it helps us getting more and more content out there. Thanks again for everything and safe flights.